I'm going to record on my phone, or you fine? It's going to work.
Go back it up into the computer.
No, and action. No, not yet. Okay, take one. Question was asked is, how does God consider thought and action, or in this case speech, to be the same? That means if a person is, let's say, thinking about something that he's not supposed to be doing, like for example, the example I was given is Lashon Hara. I'm thinking, wow, this guy's shirt is horrible. He has the worst taste in the world. Okay, if I would say this to somebody else, say, this guy has the worst taste in the world, that would be Lashon Hara. Unless it's like a crazy case, where you're talking to a designer who's about to go together into business with him, so you have to let him know. But in general, to just give negative information about people is Lashon Hara. So what if I think it? Am I going to be judged on it or not? The answer is depends. The majority of time, thinking of an avera is not asur. Thinking of something that's forbidden is not forbidden. God doesn't expect us to be angels, and He understands the capabilities and the limitations of what humans could do. So therefore, if the Torah doesn't command it, if the Talmud doesn't say it, if the Shulchan Aruch doesn't bring it, you're usually not going to be judged on it unless it says it specifically. Let's just give the Lashon Hara. If I think this guy has horrible taste, I won't get punished for it. Not at all. Maybe you want to tell me Kabbalistic, I don't know. But Shulchan Aruch, Halakha, there's no problem with it. Is it healthy? No, because usually we know. If you think it, it stays. And all you need is somebody to press the button for it to come out. And somebody says, you'll get married and your wife will come say, look, I got this jacket, and the person that you thought had as well, he's the designer. And she spent already $10,000 on it, it's just crazy. Him! He has a word, right? If you think it's going to probably be there. So it's not healthy, but it's not asur. It's asur when it's expressed or when you take action. Taking action can either be by words, where the Torah forbids the words, like in the case of Lashon Hara, or action is, you actually went ahead and did it. Okay? However, there are commandments in the Torah where thinking itself, where the thinking itself is forbidden. Let's give an example of that. Avodah Zarah, idolatry. If you start thinking, God, I don't like God. I think I'm going to go worship Buddha. He's great. Wow, so powerful. Nice belly. Nice haircut, you can rub it. I can't do that, I can't rub a Sefer Torah. So I want to now go take Buddha. I think it's good. He's going to give me good parnasah. I just thought about it. But thinking about idolatry, or that there's a power in the world besides God, in itself is forbidden. So, depends on the command. In general, the 90% of the commandments are not what you think about. It's all action, whether it's by speech or physical action. Another example is thinking of guys and girls, let's keep it that. I think that's as clean as I could get. Okay? But all that what goes on, if you let your mind, unfortunately we get bombarded with these thoughts because it's all over, but keeping that in your mind, you can say, I'm not doing anything, I didn't touch, I didn't do anything. To a certain extent, sometimes that's worse than the actual action. Why? This doesn't mean, so you tell me I shouldn't think I should go do it? No. This is asur and this is also asur. Right? But what it means is as follows. The Gemara actually says this line. They have to know how to interpret also certain Gemara. Thank you. The Gemara says that the thinking about the, basically relations between men and women, at least that's what we're holding at this stage right now. I don't know, maybe in 10 years my speech will be men and men. Okay, at this stage it's men and women. Thinking about what's going on with men and women in your mind is sometimes worse than the actual action. Why? So there's few explanations. Number one is that when you think about something, sometimes you blow it up in your mind so much, right? And you keep on thinking, sometimes all you need is to taste it and to see, there's really nothing to it. What is the big deal? Why is everybody making such a big deal of this thing? They talk about this pizza store, everybody's talking about it, and you're dreaming about it, and you're drooling, and you can't wait. You get the slice of pizza, and you say, hey, no, Zelo, what's everybody going crazy about? It's just a hype, right? Sometimes you'll see, the action itself is okay. I don't know, they made this girl like, I don't know what. Nothing crazy. Okay, that's number one. So therefore you end up doing the avirah of thinking much more than the action. Number two is, you have to know that your mind is the holiest thing that you have in your body. The holiest thing. That's when you learn Torah, which is the holiest mitzvah that you could do, each commandment of learning Torah. It's like right now we're learning Torah, it's considered like we did all the 630 commandments. and if you learn Torah on Shabbat, it's very, very holy. Your mind is the holiest part of your body. So one of the rabbis explains, he says, we find in the Torah, and in Talmud, when the second temple was destroyed, there was the general, his name was Titus. If you go to Rome today, there's an Arch of Titus till today. Titus was the son of the Roman Caesar, Vespasian, they call him. Okay, he came, and when he destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, it says that he took a zona, he took a prostitute, he went inside of the Kodesh Kodashim, which is the holiest place in all of the whole world. That's where the Aron used to be. And he took out a Sefer Torah, rolled it open, and he used it as a bed cover, a bed sheet, and he had relations with the prostitute right there in that spot. It's horrible, right? The guy was a real wicked person. Says this rabbi, in comparison to the world, your body is also could be matched up to the world. Just like in the world there are parts that are holier than others, like Israel, so too there are parts in your body that are holier than others, which is the upper part of your body. The bottom part is where we use bathroom and reproduction and all other things. So, and physically it's not kept so clean either. Upper part of the body, and as you go higher and higher, right, your mind, your head, every 2 seconds, you take the hair, it's out of place, and you get mixed up. For me, let it go. Anyway, I'm married already, I don't have to worry. But but you take care of it much more. The mind is the most important things. Lo aleinu, but people go through accidents. Christopher Reeve, Superman, when he fell off the horse, as long as his mind was working, he was able to do something. There are other people that just with their eyes, at least he was able to talk. Other people would just, there's somebody who painted a whole picture with just winking his eyes. He got into a car accident, not car accident, I think also another, horse riding accident, and he was able, based on computers, but he was able to paint just with his eyes. He would, the way he would move his eyes, that's how he draw pictures. And he did a lot. He accomplished a lot. Most more regular people do. Why? As long as the mind is working, the person is. So that's the holiest part of the person's body. If you're bringing the zonah into your bedroom, it's horrible. It's avera. You bring the prostitute in your bedroom, it's a very bad afsur. When you bring the zonah in here, in your Kodesh Kodashim, and your, says Rabbi Chaim Vital, Rabbi Chaim Vital, it's like you're bringing her inside the Kodesh Kodashim. In your body, that's a Kodesh Kodashim. That's the holiest place. You're making her enter there. When you bring her to the room, she's not entering there. It's the physical act and you're done. So when the Gemara tells you that you're thinking wrong, that you're thinking about these things, it's forbidden, you're bringing her in the holiest place. So you have to know what the thing is. At the same time, flip side of it is, like we said, we're not expected to be like angels, and therefore if somebody angers me, anger is horrible, anger is not a good thing, anger is the gateway to many, many problems. When somebody angers me, I could feel very, very angry, but I won't react. I get a lot of reward for not reacting, but I'm feeling it. I'm burning inside. Sometimes you see a person who's very angry. Calm down. Don't do anything. Right? But inside he's burning. He doesn't do anything. But inside of him is burning. Just yesterday it happened to me. Somebody really got me, and knocked me out for 3 hours. I'll tell you. It's just I got hit very, very hard, and it hurts you. You don't react. But your thoughts are running, I'm going to kill him, take the shaitan knife, but I'm not doing that. The other crazy guy is doing that. He's actually going and slashing his tires. So that's taking out your anger. But you just thinking about it, you will not be judged for it. You'll be judged if you take action. Why? Because you're not expected to be on that level like an angel who, be like a punching bag and not feel anything. No, you're a human being. You'll feel it. It's how you react to your anger. So it all depends what it is. In general, 90%, if you just think about it and not say it, not act upon it, you're not going to be judged for it. You're not expected on that level. But you have to know the 10%. There is an exception. Next question. No? Fine?
Deep thought.
What? That idea?
Thought.
Yeah.
But I want to comment on that though.
Please.
It's like if you can't imagine things and fantasize and about bad things and think about it, if you hold yourself back, that makes you better as a human being, no?
100%.
Because hold yourself back.
Oh.
Isn't that like of a test? Like if a God wouldn't want us to think about these things, we wouldn't be able to think those things.
So you have to know, there's got to be a guideline when we say this is wrong and this is not wrong. I mean to say, imagine a cop pulls you over. He says, you come to and says, officer, can I help you? Right? That's always right. Can I help you? You're supposed to help me. I'm paying you taxes, right? Okay, can I help you? He tells you, yeah. I saw you. You're about to go to the red light, but you noticed me in the back mirror. He says, yeah, you're right. I didn't go though. So it doesn't make a difference. You wanted to go in the red light. I'm giving you a ticket. What would you say?
Can't do that.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I didn't go. But your mahshaba, you thought was to go. So there's got to be a line where it's wrong if you cross it. Thinking about it is also not good, because if you think about it now, the next time he's not around, you're going to do it. Or there's any other reason, whatever, you're going to, even if he's there, whatever it is, you're going to do it. If, let's say, we all agree that crossing the red light is very, very, very bad. You with me? Same thing. Although God doesn't expect you to be like an angel and to keep your mind 100% pure, but doesn't mean you're allowed and it should be thinking about it. Because thinking about things usually will lead you to the actual action.
It's the first step to do it.
It's the first step, right. For example, take something disgusting in people's minds. Forgive me to use such an example. Nobody thinks and has imaginations of his sister sleeping with his sister, right? Or other magazines,
I would hope not.
That's what I'm saying. We would hope not, right? But the guy who has those, the guy who gets a thought in his mind like that, it's just right away, disgusting, right? He takes it out. Therefore, it won't lead to that. But let's say you have a next door neighbor. He's good looking, single, hi. Right, very talkative, very friendly, and single. I'm single, let's say, and you can see her from the window a lot of times, things right. So the thoughts come up, and one day nobody's in the room. It's an open opportunity because you have it in your mind. Not something like, oh, my sister is in the house by herself. No, my sister, right? But my neighbor, you might want to go when she's by herself, because it's all in the mind already. It's registered in the mind. Like we said from the beginning, once you start thinking about it, it's registered, and it makes it much easier to do later on. Okay. So we go back to... go ahead, question.
I heard an idea yesterday, but not the full idea. Something about jealousy. Jealousy, it's an emotion, it's not an actual action.
Right.
What he mentioned was that he heard from a shir, at a shir, that if you do have a feeling of jealousy, it takes over you, and it's the end of you. Those were the rabbi's exact words.
Right, so that's based on this week's parasha. This week's parasha tells us about Korah. Korah had a great, great position in the Jewish society, in the Jewish world. He was one of the 4 people that carried the Aron. That's where the tablets were, not the iPad one. Samsung, no. I mean, that's where the ones that Moses wore. And then the man, it was a very holy thing. Only 4 people, 4 Jewish people carried it. He was one of them. He was the richest person in the world. He was 130 years old. He was not a little kid. He was an older man. He was somebody very, very prestigious. He was Moshe's first cousin. But he wanted a higher level. He got jealous that somebody got a position that he really wanted, and therefore it destroyed him. Why? Because, like we said, jealousy, if I feel jealous right now from someone, I say, hey, how come he got the bigger slice? I wanted that bigger slice, but it's not fair. So I'm jealous that he got it, I wanted it. So in that case, I'm get a handshake. It's good we're not on video. Anyway. So how come he got the bigger slice? I didn't get the biggest, so I'm jealous. So if it's something like so small as a slice of pizza, I'll let it go.
Is there good and bad jealousy?
Yeah, there is. I'm going to get to that in a second, yeah. So if it's like a small slice, I'll let it go. Yeah, it's only a slice. It's a big deal. There's another 2 pies we're going to open, and we're going to find a big one over there. It's the craziest thing. But when you let jealousy take over you, and it's usually going to take over in something very big, you really, really wanted it. He took my parking spot. No, I'm kidding. So he took my job. There was an opportunity. And it's not talking about jobs at your age right now. I'm talking about you're already older. You have a family. You have, only this opportunity to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to hire you. 40, 50 years old already. You're in a position that's it. If there's a promotion, one person who's a senior leaves the company, there's one spot, and that guy's staying there till he dies. He's not moving from that position, right? And you're already in this field, you're not going to go out and look for another job because you have to start lower. You're in the company, and boom, somebody comes and takes it. That's a jealousy that's very hard to get over, because you're at the end, you're not beginning from new, and that's a very, very big challenge. You're older, and it's much harder then. Such jealousy, and I'm sure you could think of people that really destroy their lives this way. If you can't get those thoughts out of you, it'll destroy you, because your whole life is centered not around this person. He doesn't even know you. He might not even think about you, but you feel everything that he does is not against you. It doesn't become the job anymore. Jealousy turns into hate, into despising him. You can't hear his name. You can't look at your son who's named the same name. You know, it takes completely over you. That's what the rabbis say, that kin'ah, there's three things. Kin'ah, ta'avan, kabod, motzim ta'adam min ha'olam. Jealousy takes a person out of this world. What do you mean out of this world? This world and the next world. Because your whole life is centered now around this thing. You and this guy, you make it head to head. You know, the guy has no clue. What in the world are you talking about? What is bothering you? Relax. That is what happens when a person is jealousy. It takes him completely. That's the danger. Now, is there good jealousy and bad jealousy? The Gemara says that there is good jealousy. Good jealousy is when you're jealous of another person doing mitzvot. Jealousy is actually what motivates a lot of us to do something. I see he has it, so I also want it.
Leads to accomplishment.
Right, it leads to accomplishment, because if you're not jealous, you know, for example, contractors in this neighborhood, right, love the jealousy, because one guy puts up a nice house. Exactly. So now the wife comes and says, "Hey, I don't understand. Why could they build a house and we can't build a house?" Oh boy, here we go. Okay, contractor, come here. Okay, beautiful. I'll make your house even look better. So now the other guy also wants. You see, and that's so jealousy, like you said, breeds action and motivates people to do things. The question is, what are you motivating them to do? To run after their desires, or to run after a mitzvot. So if I see now, I'm thinking I'm a good Jew. I come to class every Thursday night. I'm there on time, and then I hear this guy goes Thursday and Wednesday night. It bothers me. Now, you know who bothers you though? It won't bother you if you hear that the rabbi goes to classes every day. He's out of my league. He's got a beard. I mean, you got a beard also. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you still have time. Right? He's out of my league. You don't get jealous that LeBron James could score, you know, more shots than you, and you're sitting on the court. Dude, it's a layup. Relax. Right? You don't get jealous of LeBron James. It's not a challenge. You get jealous of the guy who was sitting right next to you in class, and he became LeBron James, or not LeBron James, but he became whatever it is. And you could have done it. Anything that you know. So, the depth of jealousy, the psychology of jealousy is like this. I'm jealous is because I'm really upset at myself. I could have done it. If I go on the basketball court and I could have practiced 3 times a week, and I only went to practice once a week because I felt that I had to, I don't know, respect my parents and be in the house with them the other 2 nights, right? So now, but really the real reason is because, you know, I had Super Nintendo and I wanted to play my video games. That's the real reason. So now I come to the basketball court and I think I'm good, and I see this guy is much better than me. Well, you got more practice. So now I'm really what I am. The jealousy is really, I'm upset at myself. Why don't I do it? I come to the basketball court and I see some NBA future player. He's sitting there dunking. I don't get jealous of him. He's out of my league. That's not a question. He's not my age. He's somebody completely on a different level. Yeah, he's expected to be that. I don't compare myself. I only get jealous of people that I feel I can compare myself to them. Why? Because it's a feeling of guilt. I could have been that. I could have done that also. So this actually, one of the ways to work on jealousy is by realizing certain things are completely out of your control. There's no way you could, do anything about it. For example, looks. This is how you look because that's how your parents looked. So you can't get jealous. Why does he look better than you? I look better than you. What do you want? You want his parents? What do you want to go back in history? This is how you are. For your kids, you can do something about it. Maybe go marry a pretty girl. But this is how you are. This is what you're stuck with. You can't do anything about it. You can't get jealous about it. But if you see a guy who's built, I could have done that. I could have went to the gym also. No, but then you justify in your mind, I have to go, I have to earn my college degree, and I have to do that. Fine, but that's just to calm yourself down, right? But if you know there's something that's completely out of control, if you know that really parnasah is min shamayim, and therefore just because the other guy's earning much more money than me, it's not because him, if I'm a hard worker, so you be a hard worker. If you're not such a hard worker, then you work hard. But if I know that the other person got it, even though he worked equally as me, and he worked even less than me, then God decided that he should have it and I should have whatever I have to have. It helps with jealousy a lot. So that's why when the Gemara says, Kin'at sofrim tahkim, which means jealousy of people who do mitzvot makes people wiser, because God doesn't decide how much Torah you're going to have in your life, how religious you're going to be. You decide that. When you see somebody else who's more religious, yeah, that's something you could blame yourself. That you could say, yeah, you know what? He dedicated more time, he sacrificed more, and he became something, and I didn't. That's something that you could be jealous of, and what is it going to lead you to? To do more positive things. And that's where jealousy would be good. If jealousy prompts you to do better things, if jealousy forces you to do worse things, right? Or just to, become more angry and more hateful of people, that's not a good jealousy, even if it's for a mitzvot. The best way to know, by the way, if your jealousy is a kosher jealousy or not kosher jealousy, is as follows. If I'm jealous of you because you learn more Torah than me, wow, you finished this book and that book, how'd you do that, right? I'm jealous of you. If it motivates me to also learn Torah, and then I see that when I'm learning, right, and I'm catching up to you or whatever, or at least I'm trying to follow you, if I see that you fell and I become happy, it's a sign that's a bad jealousy. Because if we all believe that learning Torah is good and it's very positive, I don't want you to fall down. I want me to be motivated. So if you fell, how does that help me? If you have a hero, if you have somebody that you look up to or somebody close to you in any area, and he's helping you in business or whatever area it is, in school, and he's helping you and you look up to them, if you heard that, let's say this rich friend of yours or rich cousin of yours who is helping you in business, that he hit hard times, you feel bad. And you feel like, oh, good. I'm going to make more money. No, you feel bad. He's my mentor. I'm looking up to him. If he goes down, I go down. If your team loses, you also feel bad. Right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to become the best basketball player. But no, I look up to them. If you see that you're jealous of someone, and when they fall, you're happy, it's a sign. It's from the Yetzer Hara. You have to be careful. At least reevaluate your jealousy. Good? Next question. It's all quiet tonight. 8:40. Let's tell you meanwhile the announcement. If I can get a refill, if you don't mind. Okay, there's a few things going on. Baruch Hashem, the guys Moshe, Arkadi, and Izzy are working hard on doing a few projects. And summer usually gets a little weaker because now it's nice weather. People want to go out, want to relax, want to hang out. So you guys came, Hazak Baruch. It's very, very, very good. It's not an easy thing. It was hard for me. No, I'm good. So,
believe it or not, we have 10 people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's still a few guys outside also. Yeah. So so they're working. So far, they started this week as a test run. They did is a WhatsApp group with halakha. They told me to announce, so I'm announcing now, and then later on, a WhatsApp group with halakha, which means it's. I'm sure you know better than me what a WhatsApp group is. Okay, I'm the official rabbi for now. Okay, you ask a halakha, I answer. I don't have my phone on me all the time. I'm able to answer right away. But, they have a few guidelines that shouldn't get out of hand. You don't want to get like 10 messages every minute. People having conversations. There are rules. They made very good guidelines. I just went over the guidelines. They're very, very good for everybody. You come on this page, you ask your halakha, and you're done. Even if you don't want to come and ask halakha, you see all the questions. You can learn a lot from the questions that people are asking. And you can look for yourself. Oh, okay, this is an interesting question. Answer question, answer question, answer. One of the rules, for example, is don't say thank you. Right? It's understood that when you get an answer, it's a thank you, because the guy doesn't want to get a text. Oh, thank you. Okay, that's it. So that's one group they're working on. They're working on a website as well. They're working on a Shabbaton. They're working on a lot of things, and hopefully they'll be successful in doing all these things. So that's one announcement. I think a few announcements they want me to announce to the guys. The other thing is the Shabbat invitations are still open. They're working also on making a system will be automatic to every Shabbat to come over. And okay, I think these are the announcements so far. Now, turn back to the class. Any questions? Or should I go ahead?
How does the word Yetzer Hara translate? How do you translate the word Yetzer Hara?
Yetzer Hara, excellent. The literal translation of Yetzer Hara is the, I don't say temptations, but the
Creation.
Sorry?
That's creation.
That's vayitzer. That's when you use it as a verb. When using it as a noun, it's the how do you say it? See, there's Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. I don't say temptation. Temptation is not a good word because temptation is always associated with negative. I can have temptations for good.
Pleasant
So it's
but negative.
What is born? Huh?
Pleasant but negative, right?
Pleasant. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if I would have I do have my iPad with me. Synonyms, I'll look it up. It probably is somewhere along something that directs you, that pulls you towards something. That's the Yetzer. Hara, it pulls you towards evil.
What
None.
does that have to do with the snake and Adam and Eve?
Excellent. The story of the snake and Adam and Eve represents the man's challenges on a constant level with the evil inclination. That's what inclination. That's it. Inclination. Inclination is you're inclined to do something. It's good or not good. Yetzer hara means evil inclination. You're inclined to do something that's no good. Yetzer hatov is the good inclination, where you're pulled towards doing something positive. Now, what the rabbis tell us is that this is before the sin of Adam and Eve. It was something external. It was not something that's part of your nature. Somebody had to. It's like having a bad friend when you're a little kid and teaching you, come, let's go put water on the teacher's chair. So when she sits, it's going to be all saggy and we'll laugh. She'll have a big red thing on the back of her skirt, right? That's your friend. You would never do it. My kid will never do that. It's that guy's kid, right? Lady, ma'am, it's right. So that is the inclination. That's the evil inclination before the sin of Adam and Eve. It was external. It was not part of a person's nature. After they ate from the Eitz Hadat, from the tree, it became part of our nature. That we have evil thoughts in our minds. Nobody has to tell us. Sometimes we're sitting by ourselves and we'll have, like we said before, whether it's thoughts of temptation or relations, it'll just be in our mind. Nobody has to teach us. We just come up with them right away. And if they come in once, they're there to stay for a very, very long time. So that is what the story of the snake and Adam and Eve. The snake represented the evil inclination, which was external. And the Gemara Talmud says that he put the poison. And the Talmud says as a metaphor, he slept with Eve. A snake cannot sleep with a human being, right? But the idea is that when you sleep with someone, like we know today with diseases, right? You could, people could contract STD where because they picked it up from somewhere. Nobody just picks it up by itself, right? So that's the idea what the rabbis are telling us. A snake became part of a human being. Eve, because she's the mother of all humans, we were all born from that, and therefore we're all born with a natural evil inclination. You see it from kids, right? Kids, when they're younger, they're hitting, they're taking. It's only when they mature, they get a little bit older, bar mitzvah age 13 and above, that they start to think a little bit more, they start to care for a little bit more, they start to understand, they start to take responsibility. Until you're a kid, you're the center of the world, and you see as they grow up, they become less self-centered. A baby who's born cries, doesn't care who's sleeping, doesn't care if you came back from work exhausted, it doesn't care about anything. I want what I want right now, and I'm going to make, and you're going to clean me. Okay? As the kids get older, and you see teenagers already, especially if they see that the family is in need of help, teenagers on their own will start, mom, dad, I want to help out, I want to be able to give. As they get older and older, they take care of their parents. If their parents are elderly, they bring them into the house, and things, so on and so forth. That is what happens when a person gets older. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I already announced about the WhatsApp group. Yeah, and the other thing is the website that they're working on. Okay, what is that the same? That's one of the rules. They have a lot of rules. Okay.
Did everybody give the rules?
No, one of the rules. Just the idea is that you shouldn't feel it's going to get overwhelming.
Oh, the thank you one?
Huh? Just to thank you. Okay, anything else? Let's go to the parasha, because I have a few minutes. Let's stop about 5 minutes early. Huh? You had a question? No. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you remember, I asked last week about Abraham being.
Yes, now we have time. Yeah, okay, just remind me what the question. I remember you asked the question, I remember I had to leave, but remind me.
He was the first person to recognize one God.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
So there was no one before him that recognized one God?
Excellent. The statement that's usually understood about Abraham is that he was the first one to believe in one God. And that's not true, because we see Adam spoke to God, Noah spoke to God. Before Noah, there was his grandfather Metushelah. He was a righteous person. We see, it seems like he spoke to God. Even before them, there was another person his name was Hanoch. I believe he was the father of Metushelah, where God actually took him. So people communicated with God. People knew about God. So, and it's impossible to say that Abraham, who came 20 generations after Adam, Abraham was born 1948 from the creation of the world. It's almost 2,000 years from the world was created until then. It's impossible to say that he was the only one who discovered God or believed in God. Especially that Abraham went to a yeshiva, a school, by Shem ve'Aver, who were descendants of Noah, who themselves had a place of study to understand God. So they believed in God. A lot of people believed in God. So what does it mean then that Abraham was on one side and the whole world was on the other side? It's as follows. Abraham's discovery of God Abraham's introduction to the world was that he went out to teach about God. Beforehand, you wanted to learn, you would have to come and learn. Nobody's going to come and pull you. You're interested, you come. You're not interested, you're not going to come. And people felt that it shouldn't be preached because they could do whatever they want. Freedom of choice. You got the Statue of Liberty with the fire making Havdalah. Everybody's they can do whatever they want. Live and let live. But Abraham came and said, no. If God cares, because here's a story that changed Abraham's life. Abraham saw the son of Noah, Shem. He told him, can I ask you a question? What was the merit that you, your brothers, and your father were able to survive and the whole world perished? Right? How in the world did you guys survive? And Hashem killed every single person except for you guys. He says, you know what our merit was in the Teba? When we were inside so they called it the ark, but really I think it was more like a box, but let's say it's an ark, okay? Teba really means a box, but okay, it's a ship, whatever you want to say. So now, you know what was our merit? He says, we barely slept. Every single moment, you had to feed a different animal. And everybody has a schedule, right? And you can't feed this one in the day and this one in the night. And we were going crazy. We did not see sleep for 1 full year. And that was our merit that we survived throughout the year of the flood. When the whole world died, we survived. Because we were being kind to the animals. So Abraham said, oh my gosh. You get those ideas like, wow, flashes, like you discovered something. So he said to himself like this, if God cares about kindness to animals, how much more so if I'm kind to people? Now, if they were kind and they fed animals food, physical food, how much more so if I feed their souls with knowledge of God, learning about God, how much more so would they get? And therefore Abraham decided to, I don't know if to change his life mission, but to create his life mission. His life mission would be, from now on, to educate the world about God. And that was where Noah and Abraham differed. Noah was a righteous person. He never went out and preached it. He built an ark and people came and told him, hey, what are you doing? Our father's going to come. You're going to die. Right? That's it. Did he open up a yeshiva to teach people? No. You're going to come, you learn, you live. You don't? You go swim with the fishes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's what Abraham decided. But that's what Noah was different. Abraham said, no. We're going to open up. We're going to give them pizza. We're going to give them cakes. We're going to give them teas. We're going to give them hookahs. Whatever gets them to come, as long as they learn about God. That's really what he was. He was the first Chabad house. Okay? You come, you get a meal, and at the end he teaches you about God. He says that's what it was. Right? He gave them food, drinks, and shelter, and Torah. That was Abraham's mission. So when we say that Abraham was the first one to discover God, it's not that he discovered God, it's that he told the world about God. He went out and he made that as his mission. Even when he was so sick, when he circumcised himself, he's almost 100 years old. And still, he would not rest. He went out, he was exempt from the mitzvah. He went out to look for guests to bring them in. Why? To feed them, to teach them, to educate them. As everybody knows, the fastest way to a person's mind is his stomach. Right? You feed the guy, yeah, okay, your wife wants you to get something, he wants something out of you, you'll see. She'll feed you a good dinner, she'll have your credit card the next day, she'll have that dress, okay? That's how it works. You feed them, you give them something that they enjoy, that they can relate to, then you're able to educate them. That was the difference. That was what Abraham did.
And he would preach whatever he learned in that school?
Whatever he learned, whatever he discovered, he was a genius. Abraham, clearly from the Midrashim, was not what we would call today a prodigy or a genius, because he wrote many, many deep things, Kabbalistic things. He was able to discover what we know today as a Torah based on the world. We could today, not us, but there are rabbis that could look at the Torah and tell you how the physical world ran. There's a great rabbi, his name is Hazon Ish. He passed away in 1954 or 1952. Okay, he used to be consult. He lived in Israel. The biggest doctors in Israel used to come to him to consult with him how to operate. How to operate. He never went to school, not yeshiva either. He was a big rabbi because he one of those heads, he just sat down and learned. But he knew exactly how the body worked and everything based on the Torah. You could discover the world from the Torah, which means that if you look at the world, you can discover the Torah as well, because it's a mirror, image of each other. Question?
It might sound like a stupid question, but you said that we have to treat animals with kindness. Can we kill insects?
Something like, I just got a text today from a girl like that. It says, Rabbi, can we kill insects? And number two is, what if they're in my house? I said, anybody who's in your house is a ganav. You could kill them, get rid of them. They're not supposed to be in your house. I just killed a cockroach yesterday, and my kids had a big party with it. Okay, so halakha lema'aseh. Yes, there is no istur, like we said beforehand. There are things that everybody has to follow. There's a line that you cross. You ran a red light, it's forbidden. You thought about running a red light, or it's an orange. You can get away with it. Is it the best? No, because you're borderline. Killing insects is one of those things. To kill an insect for no reason whatsoever, to take, when we were little kids, we used to take the little lighters, and I never did it, but look at the ant is going to burn. That, I believe, is not right. Did I see it written? I don't believe that's proper to be done. To torture an ant, to pull out one leg, that's asur. But to kill them because they're interfering for whatever it is, yeah, you have every right to kill them. They're not supposed to be in your house. You put a sign, no ants, no cockroaches. They don't listen. You could say, enter and die. That's it. Somebody once made a sukkah. He's like, Rabbi, raccoons. Let's put a sign. No raccoons allowed. That's it. Go ahead.
Abraham was born in 1948?
From the creation of the world, not 1948.
Yeah. Was created in 1948.
Yeah, that's the way to remember.
That's very
interesting.
I'm sure it's not a coincidence.
I'll tell you the difference. The difference is that when 2015, right? That year is made up by Christians from the time that supposedly Jesus was born. Supposedly, whatever. It's a whole debate also in itself.
The Gregorian calendar was made by the Byzantine.
So here we go. The Julian calendar originally was, so in the Gregorian calendar they not played games, whatever. They switched. They jumped 14 years right in the middle. There was like a whole big chunk with 1500s is missing, because they just jumped it up because they made a mistake in the calculation. So even that is, somehow or another it came out the number. That is right, yeah. No, very good.
We have time for one more?
Yeah, good. One last question.
Okay, so, did everybody believe in God during Abraham's time?
No, not at all. The opposite.
Okay, so I don't get it, because...
You can show me otherwise?
No,
okay.
I don't get it, because Adam knew there was one God, right? Until Noah's grandfather lived the same time that Adam lived, and everybody before him.
Right.
So if they lived during the same time with Adam, and Adam knew, why didn't everybody else know?
Excellent. Let me tell you something like this. To believe in God, what's called believing in God? What does it mean to say you believe in God? Look, in the Dalit says in God we trust. We see many atheists today. So what does it mean you believe in God? That's a question you have to ask yourself. When you go up to a person and say you believe in God, if he tells you yes or no, what does that mean? If you see a guy you ask him, you believe in God? Yeah. So why aren't you keeping Shabbat? Why aren't you eating kosher? Why aren't you dump your non-Jewish girlfriend? What? He says, nah. What do you mean, nah? Yes or no? You believe or you don't believe, right? So then it becomes a philosophical. I believe I can fly. I can touch the sky. Okay, I don't know. So you have to define what God is, right? Not to take it a little extreme. Some people believe they are God. They're rappers and whatever. Okay, so God means like this. God is a power. It's a supernatural power that is above us, that could have control and influence on us. Okay, that is one explanation, understanding of God. Did people believe in supernatural powers 100%? And therefore, like Greek mythology, Zeus and Hercules and, the old us used to be very into that. But whatever. Okay, basically, Greek mythology is there are gods of the wind, and there are gods of the fire, and the gods of the earth, and then they make Captain Planet. No, okay, so there's different gods that control different parts of the world. That's exactly what Avodah Zarah was. Avodah Zarah was that there are gods, everybody. There's a God of love, and there's a God, and you worship them, and you sacrifice to them. So they all believe in a supernatural power. That they were, I'm sorry? Deities, yeah. But that's the same idea. But what's a deity? It's a power, it has control over you. They can control, they can do something to you. Cupid could shoot an arrow when you're standing next to the secretary and make you fall in love with her, and you can't blame yourself. It's not my fault. He shot me. What do you do? Right? They have power over us that we can't control ourselves. That is what a God is. So now, does that obligate me or not obligate me? So does that obligate me or not obligate me? So that's really what the definition of God is. Is God is somebody that I'm obligated to or not? So they all believe in certain powers. For Judaism, or before Judaism, which is Abraham and Noah and all these things, is that there's one person in control of everything. Not one person, I can't even say the word person. But there's one power that's really, all powers are Him. He has distributed these powers, that are all under, He is the command center. That didn't believe. That means we came to somebody and said, everything's under one power. And that's what we say. Shema said, Adonai Eloheinu.
900 years.
Adonai Ehad. No, when we say Ehad, right, He's the only one. People say, of course there's a God, but He's not the only one. If God is good, why do we say evil? No, we say Ehad. No, there is no other. He's the one who also brings evil. Like one person once asked, Rabbi, where was God in the Holocaust? Rabbi said, killing Jews. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to swallow, but He was. Does that make Him mean? Well, in our understanding, we think it's mean. Well, you have to understand, why did God do it if God is really good? You understand? But that's what it is. Good and evil come from God. La alenu, la alenu, la alenu. But if a person goes through a tragedy, a relative dies, the bracha that they make is they bless Hashem that he did this. It doesn't feel good. It hurts, especially when it's a young person dying, but that's a blessing because we recognize that everything comes from God. Everything, except for our choices, what we choose to do. That is God. So when you come to a person in those days, you say, there is one God. No. I agree there is a God that communicated to Adam. But he didn't have a long phone book. I got the new phone with all the phone books of the different gods and this God and this, that God, and I discovered this one, that one. That's exactly. So you couldn't educate about that. What Abraham did is he debated with everybody to prove that all of these powers are all controlled by one. And that we'll get into maybe a different.
If it was Abraham instead of Adam.
So that the Midrash already says. The rabbis already speak about that. Would Abraham have accomplished what Adam? And in fact, God didn't want to create Abraham in the beginning. He didn't want to put him through the challenges of Adam because he wanted Abraham to come later on to be able to save the show. It's kind of like that, that hitter, that pitcher that comes in to save the game.
I heard a theory that there might have been more than one Adam.
No, what's the same? Yeah. So I see you. What the question first? Yeah.
It's not a question. It's just something that was. Yesterday I had a day like I had. My day started like around 8:30, and the second it started, nothing was going right. From the beginning of the morning to the end of the day, like things were happening, just like literally something was crossing. Everything that I was trying to do, everything that I was attempting to do, I had an argument with a crazy man.
Because of?
I had an argument. First I had an argument in the morning. The second that I walked into work, I changed my shirt, I put on my tie. Started to get into the argument. Why? We had no staffing. We were limited, very, very limited to staffing. We had a 9 o'clock one person. Then the next thing, the whole day was crazy. I get out of work, I go. Next thing, I'm going to get grab a slice on the way. I get the pizza, get a slice, double park, get into the car, start the car, start driving a little, slowly, boom, somebody hits me. Gets into the corner, TLC guy. I wasn't even moving, like I was slowly pulling out maybe 2-3 miles an hour. Boom, he gets into, touches my whatever fender,
right.
Scratches, I get into an argument with him. Another thing that I'm trying to get a bounty. Somebody asked me to get the whatever napkins, and I have cash. I'm going to 7-Eleven, thinking I'm going to get a cash back, buying something. The guy gets, we discontinued this thing, we'll no longer give you cash. Every little thing that I was trying, like throughout
this was
the
today?
whole day, yesterday,
yes, sir.
Was like negative. There was something against it.
Okay.
I thought it was a message or something. Could have been.
They say when it rains, it pours,
I guess so.
I'll tell you like this. I get those days also.
Like
I get those days where everything goes
my
wrong.
entire life.
Everything goes wrong. I'm not God to tell you what's going on. But I'll tell you one thing. It's definitely from God. Accept it. Swallow it. Say, Baruch Hashem, that came in one shot. Imagine you get a headache every single day. No, it would be much worse. Okay, I'm ready to pay for it, one day. It's like somebody I know, he had to have a hernia. He had hernia, so he had to have surgery. So he needed 2 of them. So give it to me both in one shot. I'm going to go through the pain. He went through tremendous amount of pain, but he said he wanted to get rid of it in one shot. So say Baruch Hashem, it came in one shot. You don't want it to happen one day.
Yeah.
I can't tell you reasons. You could maybe discover a thing. I don't know, but I can't
It's a
tell you.
message, definitely.
100%. Yeah,
God
100%.
wanted to
Yeah.
see how you argue.
Yeah. Sometimes, by the way, sometimes he said something very good. God wants to see
Are you facing it?
how you facing it, how you confront it. I'll tell you one thing that's very important to keep in mind, and it's a big secret. A lot of people don't know it. When something very good is going to come your way, you usually get challenged and tested in something very big. But a definition of a test is when you don't realize it's a test. If you're ready and you're waiting for it to be a test, it's not a test. A test is like he's spacing out, and boom, they get unexpected. And if you pass that test and you swallow, you accept it, good things will come. Yeah. Most guys that usually I've known from Yeshiva that had a hard time dating, usually they were always confronted with something very big, and then right after they got the hump, the next was the right girl. Yeah, last question now, we gotta go. We're gonna walk together.
A rabbi once told me, I asked the question, why did the Holocaust happen? And he told me that you can look at it from two perspectives. The first perspective is that so much souls had to be taken, not souls, so much lives had to be taken for Hitler to be punished, to finally be punished for his sin. Like we have merit to do good, he had a merit to do bad, and once he hit that mark, he can be punished for his sin. But he said there's the second perspective. The second perspective is God was cleansing the Jewish people to go into for the creation of Israel. Is either of those explanations count?
I'm being recorded, forgive me, but the question of the Holocaust is a big question of faith. I don't know if you know personally any Holocaust survivors. I've met. I know someone very well. I see him on a regular basis. Okay? Forgive me, but if I would say those two answers, either he'll yell at me for the next hour, slap me, or both. Okay? Because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't sit well. I believe there are certain things that are just, we have to understand where God is God and we're not God. And that's the way they accept it as well. He just went to Auschwitz with the whole big group with Steven Spielberg and everybody. And he's still a religious Jew. And I brought him to speak a few times. Maybe it's a good idea to bring him here. And in the 3 weeks, maybe I'll bring him here to speak. And when the question, of course, how do you still believe? His answer was, I have many questions, but I don't ask them. It's better not to ask them. Because we didn't go through it, so we can stand from the outside, yeah, it's this, it's that. But it's very hard for a person that really went through it. The question of bad things happening to good people is a classical question that the Talmud says that even Moses wanted to know, and God told him, you want to find out? Come up here, I'll show you. You have to come up to only after a person passes away. I don't attempt to answer any questions about the Holocaust. I don't try to give any explanation to it, and I haven't seen any rabbis that give really explanations that are just what we could take from it, what we can learn from it, how to deal with it. But to explain why God did things, you have to be God really to be able to answer that. And we'll stop here. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll continue next week, unless no.